And you're listening to Business Express. It's Rotus, Omas, and Zibby. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Zibby. Good morning, Omas. Good morning to all our listeners, viewers out there. Good to be with you guys again.
Good morning, Rotus. Welcome.
Okay.
So let's begin. Let's pick up what's on the tray for you this morning. And it looks like, one more company we have to be worried about packing up, closing ground operations, consumer good giant, Procter and Gamble have joined the league of persons indicating just to stick to the other side of business right now. Speak to us about what's brought about this development.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to speak with somebody that works at the company Twitter has its social media does have its benefits, and sometimes you just hit a stroke of luck. Of course, he didn't want to be quoted. He didn't want to be linked in any way to any of these comments, so I have to keep him anonymous. But he said basically it had to do with the macroeconomic environment. Foreign exchange. I think the CEO, even before that, the CEO was at was it the Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley event where Nairametrics took his quotes. And he was saying that, well, he mentioned Nigeria and Argentina, two countries that have had chronic foreign exchange challenges. But he did say that as a result of them, so that's the CEO mentioning microgrid, but this individual that works there, look, this was something that they've been talking about for a while. They made the decision finally a few weeks ago. So essentially, it's the macroeconomic environment, foreign exchange challenges, high inflation, making business really difficult. This, the imports, they make those well, I've said the brand. They make baby diapers. They make diapers and other consumer goods. They've got a parent company overseas. They're already in 116 countries or so. And things just got tough, and so that's why they made the decision. Of course, we've already heard about GlaxoSmithKline, and it's just another unfortunate incident where the company has just said this is just not it's not feasible for us at this point.
That means there'll be job losses. That's what it speaks to, and families.
So yes, I asked, you see, and then and this is I wish he could be quoted publicly, because I asked him, what is the impact on jobs in terms of the number of people here? That is in terms of the number of people here. He said 50. And I was like, is that correct? I've tried to get another confirmation from him.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen is, they're just dissolving their ground operations. There's still a model that they're going to keep in operation here. So I think they're working with distributors or something. So there has to be a few people left here. But he said 50. Look, even if it's one job, that is, Christmas is coming up in a matter of weeks. For a company to be making this decision now at the end of the year, it's sad.
Let's work with the 50. Let's say 50 is the figure. Let's look at the multiplier figure. One person goes to win the bread or the bacon home for the family, and you see the number, how it trickles down a whole chain of survival. And that in itself is not something we can write off, even when you were going to say, let's play on even one itself.
Exactly. So, it's essentially a multiplier effect, as you said. That's, 50 people that have families. Well, I assume they all have families. Whether they're single or not, you have everybody that is working that has a salary in this Nigeria probably has one. Well, you have one dependent in yourself, then you probably have another dependent in terms of whether it's family members or friends or people that are depending on you to help them out. So you're correct. There is a multiplier effect with respect to the impact of them dissolving their ground operations in Nigeria.
Rotus, that's a great scoop you got for us, honestly, and for the listener right now. They heard it first from Business Express. Thank you so much for that. And you can always talk to Rotus. You're sure to have you. If you want to keep it anonymous, definitely Rotus, it would get that done for you, but then the news will get across. But also, let's move away now to that and see. I've always seen these people around, but I wonder what sort of water it looks like on billboard and all of that. But right now, I'm also getting to see that as a chance for us to understand what it's all about. Why is this Otsuka coming to Nigeria? If I got that pronunciation correct.
Yeah, I also saw them as well. It's very interesting when a company is scoping out its strategy to come into a country. I mean, this was months ago where I saw some people standing outside a supermarket handing out bottles of water. So it looks like they're going to be focused on. I think they're a global pharmaceutical company. They're in Japan, I think, on the stock exchange over in Tokyo. I think it's the Nikkei 225 or so. And they are making this water, this drink that replenishes electrolytes that the body uses. So I remember, yeah, I was in front of a supermarket. There were just some people standing in front of it, and they were handing out the bottles of water free. So that's basically just market testing, I guess, where you are going around to different locations and you are handing over your products so that people can try them out. So I understand they broke ground in, I think it was Ogun State. Members of the government were there. They're saying they're going to set up a $50 million facility there. They are estimating they'll create about 1,100 jobs. The fitness industry, health industry in Nigeria is big because there are a lot of people. We have that big marathon that's going to be taking place in
first quarter.
Yep, first quarter, but that's sponsored by that
City Marathon.
Lagos State, exactly. So, you can imagine while people are running, you're handing out, those type of drinks to people. Of course, they're looking to sell them later on. It's a competitive market as far as health drinks are concerned, but I think they see the size of the market, and so looks like they're focused on the Southwest for now. But it would be interesting to get more details on where else their footprint is going to be spreading across the country. So, I think it's important because when there's news of a company that closes down, it makes all the headlines because the macroeconomic environment is tough, and we know it is tough. But then I think it's also important to single out companies that are making the decision to come into the country, at the same time. Now, how long they last here, it's all up to the economic environment and how things work out with the exchange rates and, inflation. As they're going to be facing pretty much, all the other challenges that other companies are going to be facing. So we'll see how things work out for them.
Ogun is looking to be one of that destination for investments now, where it seems if there is no space for it in Lagos, Ogun becomes the first beneficiary. Do you see Ogun State positioning itself very well for this?
Man, if we had a proper rail system, I would have moved. If the whole idea was if you have an interconnected rail, you can, work in Lagos and live in Ogun State. That's how the whole thing was supposed to work. We're supposed to have an interconnected rail system within Nigeria that can allow you could live in Benin and work in Warri or whatever, or live in Sapele and work. I mean, these are supposed to be, you could be in Abuja and work in Nasarawa or something like that. That's how an integrated rail network was supposed to work. And it would have been good for the real estate market. It would have been good for transportation. So yeah, apologies for the rants, but we should have had that since to where all three of us now, we all live in Ogun State, where we're coming here to work. We hop on a train, go back home in like how many minutes, So yeah, Ogun State, the Southwest states are everybody. They're all competing with each other. Enugu State, look, you guys watch out for Enugu. The governor, Peter Umba, that man is doing some work. He is, I would argue, one of the hardest working governors right now to try to bring investment to his state. The moment he was elected, I think there were some challenges to his election, but the courts affirmed it. He just presented their budgets about day before yesterday, I think, spending a lot of money on healthcare, spending a lot of money in terms of the budget allocation to education. He doesn't care about all this climate change stuff. Enugu has coal. He wants them to use their coal. He's had investment forums trying to attract. So, so now you can think of, it's going to be up to the region, an integrated rail network within the Southeast that allows people to move goods, properly. So that these are all the things that make an economy thrive and make it attractive. We've got to work on that. But yeah, to answer your question, Ogun State is, you know, they're doing what they can. But I think they are also, I mean, again, you said you've seen the drinks. I've seen the drinks with representatives here in Lagos. So, you know, Lagos is, I guess, part of their plans, but it's a plus for Ogun State that they are breaking ground there to at least set up their first factory in that state. So yeah, that's, you know, that's, you want to see this, you know, you want to see competitive states, and you want, you still know, and we don't have anybody say, Omas, Alpha, or Zibby, how you doing? I'm moving to Zamfara for a job, or I'm moving to Benue State, or I'm moving to Ogun. We don't have that, and there's no conversations like that are going on. Everybody's just here in Lagos or in Abuja. And the only reason why they're in Abuja is because government is there and there are contracts and so on and so forth. So for all intents and purposes, really only got Lagos as the mainstay of economic activity that's attracting people from overseas and so on. So that has to change. You know, Ekiti State is also doing things as well. Ekiti State, I spoke with the Commissioner of Finance there. They have a wealth fund that they're working on. They just got an $80 million loan from the African Development Bank to set up their Ekiti Knowledge Zone. I hear they've got high-speed internet there. I hear there are hills you can go and hike, you know. I mean, I'm my honeymoon in Nigeria if I just but
Rotus just dropped it. Okay.
These guys they're working. The states are working.
Let's get the invite. But then there's something you just mentioned now. That looks like a situation where we have 1/36. So you're talking of how we can move it to probably, let's see, 10/36 gradually to see all states making impact.
That's how it's supposed to be, yeah.
On a final note, let's just close this up now. What can government do to keep companies from leaving the country?
You know, Thomas, I mean, you just do your best to improve the environment. I'm so tired of saying this enabling business environment. It's becoming a cliche. I don't even want to say it anymore. Maybe you say EBE going forward, the enabling business environment. But that's just it. You know, try and do something. Fix power. You fix power, costs come down. You know, but then it's going to be so expensive to do it, which is why they haven't done it. But you got to fix the power situation. If you can just keep it at one thing, you know, and yeah. Oh, wait, by the way, sorry, let me quickly throw this in there because I'm not putting this guy, but he did say that there are a lot of corrupt people in this country that are trying to extort Procter & Gamble, but they refused. They were not willing to give bribes for this and that. And so they just didn't want to deal with the wahala anymore. So there was, of course, macroeconomic issues. There was, of course, inflation, but also corrupt officials who are trying to extort them, you know, while they're doing their operations. And that's part of the reason, in addition to everything else, why they decided to leave. So I have to throw that out there as well. Corruption is a problem in this country.
Messages waiting already, Zibby?
All right, let's pull this up. This is from Fine, and Fine says Ogun State can still do better to become a major industrial hub due to its proximity to Lagos, especially solving the power challenges.
And then we've got Atayo. I see Tayo's message somewhere here. Atayo comes in. The genesis of this administration has triggered exodus of individuals and business japa. I wonder how quick Nigerians would get to the book of lamentation. I don't know why businesses are shy. Why not name the people asking for bribe?
Well, if you do that, there'll be retaliation. And again, I wouldn't really put it on this administration. Again, the guy I talked to that worked at the company said that things have been getting worse for them before the administration came into power. So it was something they had already been looking at. But I guess the devaluation of the currency, that just made things extra tough for them. But it's something they had already been looking at.
There's a Gilbert Musa from Festac waiting, and he says, companies exiting Nigeria, we need to work on reasons such companies exited. This will encourage SMEs to thrive. We need to address security challenges also, and he says this is key.
And one last message. This is from Babatunde, and he says Ogun, Oyo, and Ondo have huge potentials in agriculture. Currently, Ogun State has accommodated a lot of factories, but poor infrastructural development is a setback.
And Rotus, that's the size of the show. Your tray is empty, and we say, may the day and the business be profitable with lots of discounts received.
Same to you, sir. Same to you, Zibby. Thank you, guys. Thanks to everybody that sent messages. Catch you guys.
Bye, Rotus.
Bye-bye.
Focus on the Nigerian economy. We see the bigger picture.